All right, what up, people? It's your boy Cech from Unit Eagle Eye coming to you again with a brand new video. This time it's to talk about Eagle Eye, my transfer rumour show about Arsenal, discussing all things rumour related. This show is coming a lot later than I wanted it to, and obviously if you're watching it in the UK, it's just before midnight on a Sunday. What the fuck am I doing? Just been doing so much today. I mean, anyone who seen my Twitter yesterday will know some of the things I've been dealing with. Thank you for all the support and well wishes. And yeah, just really been dealing with that all day. But I wanted to do a show because I did tell you guys I'd do a show today. So yeah, first things first, let's talk about Aaron Ramsey. So in the big story today was that Chelsea are preparing a £30 million bid for Aaron Ramsey in case Arsenal decide, fuck it, let's sell him. You know, there's been a lot of changes at Arsenal since Wenger left. But the problem with the fact that Wenger's left is that there's a lot of, shall we say, legacy stuff that the new kind of program and management have to deal with. One of the things from Wenger's legacy and tenure at the club was we never dealt with contract situations very well. That's why Aaron Ramsey is in the last year of his contract and we've yet to agree a deal for him. That's why Reece Nelson, this is the one that people are still forgetting, is in the last year of his contract and we seemingly have no backup for that. I mean, the only reason why I suspect the club are less worried about that is even if Reece Nelson goes at the end of the year, I guess they'll be due something. They'll be due some sort of compensation regardless, given his age. But those are two contract situations that we, as a club, need to deal with. But I've also been a big proponent of wanting the club to take control of some of these situations. And not let the player dictate to us what we're doing. I think over the course of the last few years, we've been in situations like last year's situation was ridiculous with Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez, where we allowed both players to run into the final year of their contracts. And it was part of a lot of reasons, but I honestly think it had an effect on the team, particularly in the initial stages. I mean, Mesut Ozil, to be fair, was on form during that period, which is quite ironic, given that when he signed his contract, he wasn't. But with Alexis Sanchez, he was the complete opposite. In fact, arguably, some might say he's never really rediscovered it. You know, he had a poor season last season for us and for United. And I just feel like it should have been a situation we should have dealt with one way or another. If it means selling them, sell them. Just get as much money as you can for them and then replace them. You know, in an ideal situation, you don't want to sell to your rivals. You never want to sell to your rivals. But if you're going to have to make that decision to sell to your rivals, make damn sure you get a player just as good, if not better. And that's our problem. When we do sell to our rivals, we never get better. We never get better. You don't listen. The Van Persie thing will always hurt. It will always hurt. But if we got someone like, I think at the time, I can't even remember. I think at the time I was banging on about David Villa at the time, and I wanted Arsenal to go and get David Villa, and we ended up with Giroud, and it was like, okay, but can we get another striker? And I think that was part of the problem. That was part of the sour feeling towards Wenger, because it's like, all right, you make this decision to sell Van Persie, do that, but bring in someone better. You know, I think that was why the Sanchez thing was accepted in the end, because, you know, he sold Sanchez, but then he thought, fuck this. You know, not only am I going to buy a player to replace Sanchez's assists in Mkhitaryan, but I'm also going to buy another player who's going to replace his goals. in Aubameyang. And now it's like fucking Sanchez who around it. People forget Sanchez played for us. It's like, fuck Sanchez. We've got Aubameyang now. And it's miraculous what happens when you do that. And with the Ramsey thing, I just wish and I hope that Arsenal have learned their lesson. Because if we do decide to sell Aaron Ramsey to Chelsea, first of all, I'd like to think, even in the last year of his contract, you can command more than 30 million. But that was my immediate reaction when I saw the story, like 30 million only. And then second of all, I'd like to think that Arsenal have a backup plan. Now, my unrealistic, deluded idea, and I accept that already, is that if we let go of Aaron Ramsey, we bring in Isco. Fuck the long term. That would be my unrealistic idea. What do I think may end up happening? It wouldn't surprise me if we sold Ramsey and just internally replaced him. Because when you look at our situation, we got a lot of midfielders. But I think if we did that, you're going to get Arsenal fans a little pissed off that you let go of Jack, but then you let Ramsey go as well. Like, you might as well just kept Jack then if you weren't sure what was going on with Ramsey. And that kind of thing, I can see why that would piss people off. So, even though I feel like we can get a better player than both of them. So I guess for me, it's interesting to see how this story develops. Is it just a story that the papers are making up? Which I believe is the case. That the papers are making up because Aaron Ramsey hasn't signed his contract. And the one statement he did come out with, or I say statement, interview, wasn't a particularly positive one. It was more, well, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure if I'm going to stay because, you know, we just entered the negotiations and stuff. So now people are a little bit antsy. Like, what do you mean you're not sure? That all fucking summer to deal with. It's not like you were at the World Cup. So I can understand. But I hope Arsenal, Ivan, Sven, whoever, have some sort of backup plan. Next story I'm going to talk about is Petr Cech. So I was going to ignore this story, but I've seen it a few times during the course of today. And that is, in spite of the fact that, you know, he seems to be working hard. He's gone on the pre-season tour to Singapore. Seems to be playing reasonably well. Looks like he has a new lease of life, to be honest. Looks in much better, fitter condition. There's stories coming out today that people believe that Petr Cech is preparing to leave Arsenal. I kind of think that's true. I don't think it will be this summer, though. I think it'll be the end of his contract next year. I honestly think that's when he'll go. Unless he has an outstanding season and Emery insists he stays. That's the only way I could see that happening. So if we turn him into a little bit of our Van der Sar type of character. But I tell you what, he's got a lot to prove before he's even considered in the same sentence as someone as good as Van der Sar is. And I know he's former United. I rated that guy so bad. So much. So much. I think he's a fantastic goalkeeper. Speaking of goalkeepers, now this to me was the surprise story of the Sunday. Like, I couldn't understand where this story even came from. More than the Ramsey story, this one was just like, eh? And that is, so Arsenal apparently are looking at more goalkeepers. And in particular, we're looking at Thomas Holley. Like, who the fuck is Thomas Holley? That was my reaction too. It turns out he plays for Gillingham, 26-year-old. He plays for Gillingham. That's right, I'm not talking about a Premier League player. I'm not even talking about a Championship player. I'm about a League One player. So in my mind, I'm like, what? To play as what? Number 3? Number 4? I mean, I know he's supposed to be 6'9", and if anyone who knows me, I love a tall keeper, man. I love a tall keeper. Yeah, cool. You still got to be good enough, though. Fucking hell, I'd rather Martinez as a number 3. We don't need that. Fucking Matt Macy's right there. Are you telling me he's any better than Matt Macy? I refuse to believe it. This to me was like a bullshit story, so which is why I'm just gonna skirt past that real quickly. Other than that, that's about it. It's been a bit of a slow news day. So much so, it made it on. I just put this on Twitter. The fact that apparently because Hector Bellerin came out with a comment after the PSG game saying that the Arsenal fit players are fitter than they ever were before, supposedly Arsene Wenger wouldn't be happy with those comments. Tough fucking tits. Even if that is true, tough tits. Do you know what I mean? I've been saying this all summer that they look fitter. That they're doing different things and they look genuinely fitter. And if Wenger does have an issue with that, to me, couldn't give two shits. Like, I've been saying that all summer, and people saying, "Oh, that's unfair." You know, you're just saying that because you weren't a Wenger fan. The player is saying that. Not even me. Now you've seen the player say that. The player is saying that they are fitter. They look fitter. They are fitter than they were this time last year. So to me, it's a nothing story, but I thought I'd mention it. Like I said, it's a slow news day today. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think. Leave it in the comments down below. I apologize once again for this being so late. It is what it is, people. What can I say? But I wanted to give you a show because I promised you something. Next week, I'm going to come back to you live in action. Me and Lee have been talking. We owe you guys a show. So me and Lee are going to do a show probably Thursday, Friday, something like that, during the course of the week, where we just have a little pre-season discussion, just me and him. And then probably next Sunday, I'm going to have some new people on. Been talking to a good 3 or 4 people I'm going to have on, where we're going to do a little pre-season preview, I guess. So do stay tuned on that. It's going to be busy. And the best way of doing that is by hitting that subscribe button, crushing that like button, because every little bit helps the show. It always helps the show when you crush the like button. So please do that for me. And then hitting that notification bell, because then you won't miss it. All right, people, I'm out of here, man. I got some work to do in the morning, so I got to get to bed. Take care.